Come, come, let's hear the moral story. Come, come, let's hear the moral story.
Okay, so you've probably heard the story of the Three Billy Goats Gruff 1,000 times, right? But let's look at it a little differently today. We're not just telling a classic fairy tale. We are going to break it down as a fascinating case study in problem-solving, negotiation, and, well, knowing exactly when it's time to confront your obstacles head-on. You know, at its heart, this story asks a really fundamental strategic question. It's something every single one of us faces. When the reward is huge, like that lush green field, what kind of risk are you willing to take to get there? What's the real price of a better future? All right, let's set the stage. The whole story kicks off with a classic dilemma, something we can all understand, a resource crisis. And this slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? It defines the stakes perfectly. Over on the left, you've got the current situation. The field is brown, barren. The goats have basically run out of options. But on the right, that's the goal. A lush, green field that means survival, prosperity, the whole shebang. The motivation here could not be stronger. But there's a problem with the path forward. So what's blocking that path? Well, every great strategic problem needs a central obstacle, right? And in this case, it's big, it's hungry, and yeah, it lives under a bridge. Let's reframe this troll for a second. He's not just some monster. No, he's a strategic archetype. He is the gatekeeper. He's the one who controls access to that absolutely critical resource, that green field. So for the goats to succeed, it's not just about getting across a bridge, it's about solving the problem of Trevor the Troll. Okay, now let's dig into the first attempts to actually solve this problem. The first two goats, they use a brilliant and really calculated approach, the strategy of postponement. You can almost feel the tension just hearing that, can't you? The first goat is coming up on the bridge so cautiously. This is not some bold charge. It's a careful, calculated test. He knows the danger is there, and he's hoping he can just, slip by unnoticed. And there it is, the challenge. The gatekeeper roars. And just like that, the negotiation starts. The first plan, to sneak across, has totally failed. Now, a new tactic is needed right here on the fly. Now this is where the little billy goat gets really clever. He pivots. He doesn't run, he doesn't fight. He negotiates. And look at this simple three-step plan. First, he pleads his case, basically saying, "I'm too small. I'm not even a decent snack." Then he does something masterful. He proposes a better deal for the troll, playing directly to his greed. Just wait for my bigger brother. And finally, bam, he secures safe passage. It's a textbook move, turning a clear weakness into a real strength. And here's where we see the power of a successful tactic. The middle-sized billy goat follows the exact same playbook. He saw it work once, so he uses it again, and it works. He defers the conflict, and the troll, who's totally blinded by his greed for an even bigger prize, lets him pass too. But see, this strategy of postponement, it has an expiration date. It's been building up this dangerous level of anticipation in the troll. So now, the whole approach has to change. Completely. Just listen to the difference here. This is not the light, nervous tapping of the first two goats. Oh no. This is a heavy, confident, thundering sound. It's a signal that the entire power dynamic is about to shift big time. No fear, no pleading. This is a bold declaration. The great big billy goat doesn't try to hide who he is or what he's doing. He announces his presence with pure authority. The time for talking is over. So let's just put these two approaches side by side. The first two goats, their strategy was all about deferring and deflecting. It was smart and it was absolutely necessary to get them across. But that strategy had an endpoint. The great big billy goat, his role was totally different. His strategy had to be direct confrontation. He had to remove the obstacle for good. And the result of that confrontation? It's decisive. With one powerful move, the problem is permanently solved. The gatekeeper is gone. The bridge is now safe for everyone forever. And you see, this wasn't just a win for one goat. It was a win for the whole team. So, what's the big takeaway here? The moral of the story isn't just be brave. It's much deeper than that. It's about being strategically smart. Let's quickly run through these lessons because they're so important. The first two goats, they teach us that negotiation and cleverness are incredibly powerful tools. They bought time and they got resources safely across the bridge. But they also show us that one single strategy doesn't work for every problem. The real key here is knowing when to pivot, recognizing when negotiation has done its job and direct action is the only thing left. And maybe most important of all, this was a team effort. It took both the cunning of the smaller goats and the strength of the big one to finally reach their goal. And that brings us right back around to you. This story is so much more than a fairy tale. It's a framework for how you can think about your own challenges. So, I'll leave you with this. What's the troll on your bridge? What's that big obstacle standing between you and that greener field? And more importantly, what combination of negotiation and confrontation is it going to take for you to finally cross?